Hi everybody, this is Sam. Welcome to my Flosstube channel, Stitch Again Sam, where I talk about cross stitch and the projects that I'm working on. Today is Tuesday, which is not my normal day that I do these, but I don't know that I really have a normal day that I do these. I think it's been about a month since I've filmed anything. So anyway, today is Tuesday, January 18th, I believe. This is going to be a regular Flosstube video for me. The last one I did in December was just a whip parade. So as I go through, I have a lot of finishes to show you guys. So as I go through that, understand this is like finishes from November until today. So like 2 months worth of finishes. And that had like the holidays where I ended up with a lot of time to stitch, let's just say. Long story short, my youngest daughter and I ended up with COVID just before Christmas. So that was a kind of a bummer, but neither one of us were like terribly sick. The most, like I had a little bit of congestion and like a headache, and that was about it, other than every time I would stand up, I was dizzy. So that just meant, you know, I had to sit on the couch. And so if I'm sitting on the couch for a couple days, well, I stitched because I didn't really feel bad. I just was dizzy if I stood up. So I had a lot of stitching time, and I had already actually scheduled myself to be off of work that week in between Christmas and New Year's. So I already had that time off. We really couldn't go anywhere during that time, because we were all still in our quarantine. Okay, we're all in our quarantine. That's the end of that story. Next point, I'm gonna probably be touching and doing stuff to my hair a lot. I got a cut. My younger daughter told me I needed bangs and a middle part. And I don't think I need bangs and a middle part, but, and my bangs aren't even, I don't even think it's not quite even in the middle. Like these bangs are just revolting and being like, no, we go there. I'm trying, but it's an adjustment. That's all. It's just an adjustment. So anyway, haircut, COVID, I mean, Christmas, this is what I tell everybody. Like, I was glad that we knew we had symptoms and that we knew what was going on before we went over to my mom's house. And my mom and grandmother live together. So, and my grandmother's in her 90s. So like, we do not want to be bringing COVID to their house. So I was very glad that we knew that and didn't put either of them at risk. And in the end, it just ended up being a very relaxing holiday because we just relaxed at home. So put the silver lining on that and say that's how that all went. So we had a good holiday. Yeah, okay. So I think that is pretty much all I have to tell you in the life update category. Yeah. So like I said, I have a lot to share, so we'll get right into the stitching so I can show that. I will show you all the finishes I have. We'll go through whips. I have been keeping it's like the Book of Days, but it's not like the actual Book of Days calendar. And I think I talked about that in my last video. I'll talk about how things are going with WIPGO and show you some haul that is mostly Christmas presents that have some stitchy theme. Okay, so let's start with finishes, and we'll go through all of those first. But I don't want to show you that one first. Okay, so and these aren't necessarily in any particular order other than I'm saving my favorite one for the end. Okay, I'm gonna see how this works. I have a board here in case it's not, but one, and I don't think I showed you guys, I think this one was in process. So I have this, which is, oh, I never remember the words that are the actual, this is from Satsuma Street. It's like an autumnal sampler. She has 4 of the seasons. I have summer finished. So this is the autumn, fall. Oh, there's a truck. No, he'll stop. Nobody's there. It's just a truck. Yeah, okay. Just to make sure I know. This is probably my favorite of the 4, I think. And I really, is it annoying that you can see through it? Okay, maybe we're gonna do the board. That's better. Yeah, I think that's better. I am choosing to not stitch. There's like a grid design that goes around all of these. I'm not doing that because it looks like it would be boring, basically. So that one's done. And I have a frame that I have the summer one in, and I kind of did it so I could just switch them out. Like there's no glass in it, and I can just kind of pull one out and put the other one in. So I just need to get this on a board. Well, and it needs to be fall. So we have time. So that one got done. Okay, that's gonna be last. I did work on, I think I already showed you guys this. I don't know why I have this in the pile. I'll show it really quick. These are the Crochet A Go-Go. No, see, you can still see through it. Crochet A Go-Go monthly patterns. I think I showed this to you already because I don't feel like I've worked on this recently. That's August. So I think I have 2 of the months done. The rest, well, I have 5 spots on my WIPGO board to try to get some more of those finished. I don't think I needed to show you guys that, but whatever. Okay, then I worked on another one of the Flamingo patterns. These are from Hands On Design. And this is the Fa-La-La-Mingo version. And this is just, it was called for fabric, 32 count Icelandic blue linen. I don't remember who makes that, but I slightly changed the pink colors. I'm using DMC. I'm not using the fancy floss for these, but I used the called for DMC colors other than this darker pink. I used a different color. That was something that I had already and I felt like looked like, oh gosh, the color, the DMC color that they called for as the like alternative, it was, to me, it was very bright. And although I like bright, I don't know, it was too bright. Although I think my mom ended up stitching these with that color and they looked fine. So I probably could have stuck with it, but whatever, I'm happy with that, it's done. So we have 2 of those done. I do have the 3rd pattern, so I will do that at some point. Okay, let's show you this one. This is a Lizzie Kate pattern. Oh shoot, you know what? I was thinking like, I don't need to have the actual patterns because they're done, but I think this was called Be Jolly. I think. I'll put a link to something with it in the bottom. I got this at a local needlework store to me, so I didn't order it online, but I think I've seen it on 123 Stitch where you can still get Lizzie Kate things. This is super cute. I like it. I had a hard time with these bands of, I messed these up. This took me longer than it should have because I had to keep pulling things out. I kept miscounting and I don't know why, but I'm messing that up. This one included some firsts. Wait, I think this is the one that has, oh no, maybe it's just the beading. It has beads. There's beads. It might be hard to see those. Let's see if I can get it up closer. Like it looks like falling snow, and it came, like the pattern came with the beads. So that's the first time I put beads on anything, so that was exciting. Something I did had a French knot on it. I thought it was this one, but it must be something else. We'll figure it out. So that is done. Happy with that. Okay. And I found a frame, well, it was like a tabletop kind of decor thing at Hobby Lobby that I think this is gonna fit in perfectly. I bought some paint because I think I'm gonna paint it red and then put this in. So when I finish it, I will show you guys, but obviously it's a Christmas thing and it's not going out anytime soon, so we'll worry about that later. Okay, then I did, I was the lucky recipient of some patterns. So one of my local needlework stores is Just Stitching in Strongsville, Ohio, and the owner also does a Flosstube channel. I'm sure she's not doing it now because she unfortunately fell. I think she said she was walking her dog and slipped on ice and broke her wrist. So she is out of commission and the store has been closed for a couple weeks. So happy healing thoughts to Shelly. And hopefully, I think she had to have surgery and all kinds of stuff. So that was not good. However, before all that happened, on one of her, she usually has a giveaway on her Flosstube episodes. And so I won, there were 3 Primrose Cottage patterns. And so like I had to just hightail it in there and pick up my free pattern. So I got fabric to stitch them on. And I think maybe it called for this, and it is Lugana, Vintage Country Mocha Lugana. And it's the first time I ever stitched on Lugana, and like loved it, like loved it. So I feel like this is the great, like I can stitch. I mean, I've stitched on linen. I can do it. I don't mind it. I like it. I still like Aida. This is like the perfect in between. So if like you're an Aida stitcher and you're like, ooh, I don't really want to venture into things, I think Lugana is the way to go to try it. So anyway, I did 2 of them. And again, I'll just put links to these patterns below so I get the names right. I'm gonna assume this one is probably called Let It Snow. It's got that cute little thing. And I actually found a cute frame on clearance at, I think it was at Home Goods, that I think this one will look cute in. So I'm buying all this stuff, but I need to like finish some things. And then I also did the Jingle All the Way pattern. So I have one more, I think it's Joy to the World or something, that kind of went with this. This one I think I might try to make like a little pillow or ornament or something sewn like that. Because I don't know that they're both on the same piece of fabric, but I don't know that I have to put them, like they go together, but they don't have to be together, if that makes sense. Okay, so I did that. And then I mentioned, I think on my last video, that I wanted to do all of the Lizzie Kate string patterns. And so I do have spots on my WIPGO board for those, but prior to the end of the year, I did Mary string. Hold on. Mary string. And I remember seeing Steph from, I always, because the store is Just Stitching and they're Just Keep Stitching. Just Steph, Pam and Steph, saying like, I think it was this bottom present had like blue lines. It was literally the only blue in the whole pattern. She's like, I wasn't putting that on there. And I was like, yeah, why this one little tiny bit of blue? So I just used some of the red that was already being used in there. So this is on the same, obviously, piece of fabric as the other patterns, but I think that looks pretty good. And that was those are fun and easy stitches. You'll see, because I have another one. Yeah, but I do like that. And I have a frame that I got at Joann's that I think it was like one of those home decor things, but it was clearance to super cheap, and it's a long skinny thing that I think I'll be able to use for some of these. So that is done. Okay. All right, because the other one kind of, well, okay, since we're on the strings, let's just do this. Okay, so the first 2 numbers that were called on the WIPGO board for January were 2 and 19. And so my number 1 through 5 are all the string patterns. So what I'm doing is then picking, like, if there's a seasonal string that I still have to do, which obviously I only have that one done, so that would be almost all of them. Depending when it gets called, that's what I'll pick first. Or I have the dog and the cat one, so those can fill in. But since this is January and I had, what is this? It's not winter string. Shoot, I can't remember what it's called now. Whatever, I'll put it in there. The winter version of the string. This one's a little wrinkled. I did this guy. And this is on, can you see that okay? I never, okay, there you go. And I did this on, what is this called? Linen white mini dot linen, 28 count. Yeah, you certainly can't see it that way. And so it kind of looked like snow. And I think actually when I was in Just Stitching, one of the models in the shop, it was on, not this one, I think it was the like Swiss dot one where the dots are a little bit bigger, and I kind of liked it, but I did feel like the dots were a little too much with the, I don't know, like I was like, I wish the dots were smaller. And then I was at a different store and I was like, oh, look at this like tiny dots. I think that will look good and look like kind of snow around it. And I think that turned out pretty good. And I just used all the called for DMC colors for that one. So that got done. Yay. And that was my goal for WIPGO, was to finish that. So at least one goal on the WIPGO board will for sure be met. Okay, so that's done. All right, so now it's the big reveal moment, my very favorite finish. And I did finish this in 2021. And that is my, hold on, I gotta figure out how to fold this up. Okay, it's my Emma Congdon number 19 from her book, Cross Stitch for the Earth. Oh, that makes it look darker than it really is. Let me see if I put it on the board, if that helps. I think you guys know what this looks like. It's done. I'm so excited. And I did start like a sal for this. It's Seasonal Earth sal. And there are a few other people working on it. I actually saw Kaylee. Kaylee, I think I'm saying your name right. I'm sorry if I'm not. Cross Stitch, she's fun. She does a lot of stitch along or like stitch with me videos, and she was working on it, and she was in the fall. So she's getting close. So it's done. I'm so happy. I really, when I saw this pattern, I was like, oh, there's no way I'll ever finish that. It's huge. But again, kind of did it in chunks throughout the year in each season, and it's done. Oh, and if you watched my WIP parade, I had originally put my initials like on the, like I did a slightly lighter color of orange on the bum of the fox, and I decided I didn't really like it, so I pulled those out and just restitched it, and I don't think you can really tell. And then just did my little baby initials in the corner like I normally do. So I'm very excited to frame this. I think I'm gonna hang it at work in my office. We just moved our offices, and so my office does not have windows, which is totally fine. So that means it has a lot of wall space. And it is basically a gray box. Like everything in it is gray or white, and like a light gray. So it's nice, like a nice neutral background for some very colorful stitching, where I think this will look great. I considered possibly having this framed professionally, but I think I do have a frame. Like, I think this was intended to fit in a standard size frame. I didn't even measure it when I was done, but I remember when I started it thinking, well, that'll just fit in a regular, probably 11 by 14, maybe, frame. So I'm gonna try, and then if I'm not happy with it, I might pay to have that one framed, because it took a lot of work. So very, very excited about that. So that is all. Is that all of the finishes? I think that's all of the finishes. Yes, that's all the finishes. Okay. So now let's talk about WIPs. And I'm sorry, see, I think being by this window, like the coloring and lighting is a little bit weird, but I still haven't quite figured out the right spot to try to record these videos from here. All right, since we talked about WIPGO, I feel like I lost, oh, there it is. So I'm keeping my WIPGO board, so to speak, in my, so this is my calendar. Okay, we'll jump ahead to this. I'm like just all over the place because I'm out of practice doing a normal one of these. This is the calendar that I'm kind of keeping track of what I'm doing. So it's like Book of Days. It's the same kind of format of like just, you know, a layout of the month. I just like the style of the Book of Days calendar, like the on the front and stuff, it's not really mine. And this is a little bit more my style. I got it at Target, if anybody is interested. So I'm just keeping in the front. I paper clipped my WIPGO board. And as I kind of explained last time, I'm switching out. So I have like some squares on here that are seasonal things, and until they're called, I'll switch them out when the seasons change. Okay, so I didn't want to like permanently attach this anywhere because it'll change. So I'm keeping that in there. And then in January, I've just been, so I had gotten stickers. These are from, Melanie Jean Designs on Etsy. I purchased these. And so I'm just like, I kind of put all of the little, what are those called? Snow globes around. And then I've been putting mugs, the little coffee and tea mugs, on days when I stitch, which has been every day. So I realized I was going to run out of stickers. So I started doing the like, well, we'll just make it go on both days so that I don't run out. Oh, I actually need to, I have a couple days I'm missing there. I got to catch up. But I have been doing pretty good at keeping track. And then I'm kind of putting up here, I think Steph was doing this. That's why I did it. Kind of what numbers got called for WIPGO and what those projects were and whatever things I started in the month, kind of in that notes part. So that's kind of how I'm keeping track of things for this year. I still have my notebook. I think I've shown that to you guys. That is just like, it's just a notebook of blank ruled pages. And the first few pages I did as like an index, and I'm keeping track of everything I do. And then each page is a project, and I'm keeping track of the like pattern and who the designer was and the fabric and if I made any changes, and then just writing a little note about like why maybe I chose to do that pattern, or if there's anything special about it, or if anything went particularly wrong with it, or whatever, like any notes about it in there. So it's a kind of different information, I guess, but this has been very easy to kind of keep up with. Okay, so talking about WIPGO. So number 19 was the other number that was called. And originally, the number 19 on my board was, this Dog Lessons for People pattern, also from Lizzie Kate. And I really like it. I like the idea of it. I like the design of it. I had ordered, there's other things I bought. I have more haul than I guess I'm going to show you guys, but I had ordered some fabric from Fat Quarter Shop. They had a sale at some point over the winter, like Christmas kind of holiday time. And so I bought some more Lugana, and this is 25 count Prim. It's a Lori Holt color, and it's a nice neutral. Looks more orangey there than it really is. It's a nice color. So I was like, oh, I'll use that. Okay, so there's two issues I have with this, and I started it. I'll just show you. Okay, and I did want to change the color of the house on the original pattern is like a white with blue lines on it, but I'm like, well, I think a doghouse is supposed to be red. So I changed it, and I got this bar, and when I started doing the letters, I started with the house. And when I started doing the letters, I was like, oh, it looks kind of, uh-oh. The cat's out. And the dog is gonna chase her. Don't chase her. Leave her alone. Just leave her alone. Sorry. And so I started doing this, and I was like, it just looks kind of blah. Like, I mean, I can't go from like this. This is my thing, right? Bright colors on a light, bright, I love that. To this, like, I'm not anti like a tan color background, but like brown and navy on tan, I just think are not my cup of tea. And so I kind of kept going and trying to give it a chance, and I was like, oh, I just don't think I like it. And because this is 25 count versus the original 32, it's huge. Like, this is gonna be big. And I don't think it'll take that long because most of it's just words, but it's bigger. It's turning out bigger than I really wanted it to be. And I did actually have a thought when I started it of like, maybe I'll try doing over one on this because it's 25 count. Like, it wouldn't be that crazy, I think. But I chickened out and didn't. And I think I'm kind of regretting it. So I decided I need to just stop. Like, my goal on my WIPGO board was to do half of it. And I think that, like, I for sure could have done that and gotten it done. But I don't want to keep stitching on something that I'm not sure that I really like it. And so I'm having a lot of thoughts about ways that I could change this up. One was, what if I just made all the words black? And then it would be a little more like contrast against the fabric, and it would mostly look like black, red, and tan. Like, I think that I might maybe be okay with that. I thought about just bagging this whole thing and doing it on black and then doing the letters white so it looked kind of chalkboardish. I could do it on white and do whatever colors I wanted. But there is a bone, what did I do with the pattern? There is a bone here on the pattern that is white. So I was like, well, I don't really want to do it on white because I'm going to I am going to change the dog to look more like my dog. So it won't be a white dog. I don't know. There's just a lot of questions and a lot of uncertainty, and I'm not going to put any more time into this until I know what I'm going to do. So I decided to make an executive decision because if I've heard one thing on the WIPGO Facebook group, it's your board, your rules. So my rule was, even though I started this, if I don't love it, I'm going to make a switch. Executive decision, we're making a switch and picking something else. So I picked the project that was like one of the projects that was like right next to that square, and like I'm gonna switch them out. And that was the other Satsuma Street. I'm gonna show you because, this is, okay, jumping ahead to haul a little bit. This was one of my Christmas presents. I got a little Samsung tablet so I could use Pattern Keeper on it, but it's the Invierno pattern from Satsuma Street. So the winter one, like the fall one that I showed you earlier. And so I started that. And my goal was, what did I do with the actual, there it is. My goal was to complete one of the rows. So I did that. And I've continued and done a little bit more. Look at that, folded over. And so I've continued, done a little bit more, and this one, I kind of was, again, I'm like, I probably shouldn't start this because I was thinking about switching out some colors on this. This doesn't feel like it's picking up the colors particularly well. I really do need to figure out a better lighting situation, but I actually am liking them better than I thought that I would. So Ginger, what are you, the cat is really, hey. She's all about what's going on here. Okay, good. There. Now it's just gonna go away. Okay. So I started that. I have met like what was my WIPGO goal for this piece. So I'm calling that good. I'm actually stitching on it today. I worked a little bit on this bird this morning. So that's fine. And I'll keep kind of working on it. And I'm pretty happy with those colors, more than I thought that I would be. So we have that in process. Okay. I'm gonna show you this one. This is like, I'm not really sure where this one stands. All right. It's exciting. It is my, Christmas on the Beach, which is my oldest WIP. It's a Dimensions kit. And I did, over like this Christmas holiday time, finish all of the cross stitching on it. So all that was left was back stitch and some French knots or beads if I decide to switch that out. All right, so I'm doing this so that I can kind of see what this looks like. See, it's not, I think it looks pretty good. Okay, here's my problem. So I finished all the cross stitching and it was a couple days before Christmas and I was like, oh my God. Like, do you know how like I've been working on this for years, like years. And it felt like I was never gonna finish it. Oh, I hear sirens. He's gonna start barking probably. It's okay, bud. And you know how like sometimes you're working on something and it's like this really big project. And then as you get closer to the end, it almost like, it's like time just goes faster. Like it's going so slow, it's going so slow, it's so slow, it's so slow. And then you get to the end, it's like, it's done, right? Like it's done. That's how it felt. Like it felt like the finishing of the cross stitching for this was like, oh my God, how did I get that done? But I did. Okay, so then I'm like, oh, I'm only a few days away from Christmas. I could do all the back stitching and just finish this thing by Christmas. And then I started actually doing the back stitching. And I don't know if you'll be able to see. I did a little bit, it is really hard to see that, but there's a little bit up in the top here, like by the, I'll call it mountains. And then I did a little bit on the trees because there were these white circles. Let's see if you can see that. These like white circles that were just plain circles that once you put the cross stitch in, it looks kind of like a, what it was called, sand dollars. So I did that. You're supposed to backstitch all around these chairs, okay? Here's the thing. One, like, I don't mind backstitching. It's not my favorite. I like the crosses better. I don't particularly like the look of things that are just like outlined in backstitch. It's just not like my preference. But I was gonna do it anyway because I was like, I think you probably should do it. And then I actually started trying to do it. And like another thing I'm not so fond of about this, I don't know if this is in every dimensions pattern because this is the only one I think I've ever done, really. But like, and they gave you the Ada, right? So like they intended for you to do this on Ada. Okay, there's no holes. Like when you you're following the lines for where they want the backstitch to go, it seems like it's almost never going in a hole. So like along, you know, like one of the arms for this chair, it's like there's this line. It's like, it's not a straight line. It's just, it's wavy, but it's never going in a hole. And I'm like, well, how? I'm okay with like, it goes across 2 squares from this hole to that hole, or, you know, even a half. I don't know. Oh my God. I hated it. I was like, I hate this. I hate it. And so I set it aside for a day or two, and then I picked it up again. I think I tried twice to pick it up and do some more. I tried to do parts around the presents. That doesn't look good. I don't know. The presents, I think, kind of need some of the back stitch for it to look right, because there's some empty spots where it's like the bow. I'm gonna tell you, okay, so here's the plan. Here's the ultimate plan for this. I'm leaving it alone. I'm not touching it until July. So when it's like Christmas in July sort of time, I'm gonna pick this up. I'm gonna try one more time with the back stitch. And if I hate it, then we're gonna call it done. Because I think it looks okay without it. I don't know. I think it looks fine. Like as I'm looking at it in the camera, I think it looks fine. I can tell those are chairs. The tree looks good. The presents look okay. Anyway, whatever. That's the plan. We're gonna try again in July. If it irritates me beyond belief to try to stitch it, we're done. It's just done. It's gonna go in a frame. It's gonna be done. So maybe this is a finish. I don't know. We'll see. To be determined. Okay, so we had that to share. Kind of a whip, maybe a finish. We don't know. Okay, what else have I, because I have other things really here that I just have started. Okay. One of the things that so this is something that I was going to work on outside of WIPGO, where the 4 seasons of, these are Emma Congdon patterns from Cross Stitcher magazine. I think the summer one for sure is in her Etsy shop, her Stitchrovia Etsy shop. And maybe another one is now, like I think maybe after a certain amount of time passes, she'll put them up in her shop. I'm stitching this one out of the magazine that I got. I bought that at Barnes & Noble. And so this is the winter, Hazy Shades of Winter. This one might be my favorite of the 4, I think. I like these. And so I started stitching this. And if you remember, I was doing the summer one and I was kind of going all over the place and trying to like map all the squares out and kind of do an outline so that I could just use it as fill-in when I was in the car. The problem was I was finding less and less times where I had to like wait in the car for anyone. So I wasn't making a ton of progress, and I was thinking these things are going to take forever. Well, not when you actually focus on it. So I'm gonna put this one on the board. So I made pretty good progress on this one, and I just started at the top and I'm working my way down. The only thing that isn't totally done is this bookshelf part. I think it's many good books, because it's like the books are all a variety of colors that are in the pattern elsewhere. So I've just been like filling in the books as I have that color out for another square. So that isn't totally done, but that's okay. And so I'm just kind of doing it. So I'm like half done. This is because it's 6 rows of things and I have 3 done. Slightly more than 3. And if you consider that I have the title part done too. And I did decide to just go with like classic British colors on the top. I had originally thought about using the American spelling and taking some of that out, but because there are things in here that like make sense, that fine, it's fine. We're just going to leave the pattern as it's supposed to be. So I think it is possible that I could finish this by, and these I'm just stitching like in the seasons, right? So I have the whole winter season, which ends here in March. I should totally know that. Whatever, whenever winter ends. It's always a crazy time for me because it's busy season. So I never think about like, it's the first day of spring. I think it's in March. So I might be able to finish that by the end of winter. So we're working on that. Hold on, I dropped it. Okay, and then this is my last, this is my last WIP. And I think I had talked about this pattern. It's this Silver Creek Sampler Through the Storms pattern. And I feel like I have seen a bunch of other people stitching this. I know Jessie Lee TV is her channel. I thought I saw her stitching this one, and it was kind of the same thing, like as an anniversary thing. And then I swear there was someone else that it was like, I literally was sitting there stitching it, and they pulled it out and were talking about, who was it? Okay, well, I can't remember. It was someone else. I was like, oh my God, I'm stitching it too. And yeah, like you start talking to the iPad. So I started this one. This was my New Year's Day start. So I started this on New Year's Day. Again, I have a lot done. I'm very happy with this. Is a fun, I like this one. It's a fun stitch. I have learned I like to stitch words. So I have all the blue words done, which is great because I literally have like maybe a 6-inch piece of that floss color left. I was getting real nervous close to the end. I'm like, I'm going to run out of this color. I'm going to run out of this color. And I think it got that close because, so this is just a word of warning. That color is also right in the middle of these raindrops. Okay, I'm going to do something brave and show you the back because the back of this isn't too bad, but I was lazy and I just like pulled the thread from drop to drop, and you really can't see it because there's stitches in between them. I don't think you can see it from the front. But I was just too lazy to like, it was 2 stitches on each drop. And I'm like, I am not starting and stopping this every time. So it wasted a little bit, but it's close. And I'm doing this. This is a 28 count. Ooh, sorry. I don't have the tag, but it's 28 count and the called for is 32. So like that makes a difference too. So it got tight on that blue color. I think everything else, well, there's a lot of that green at the bottom, so that could potentially get tight. My problem is there's a color that is called for to go beneath this cloud, like almost like a shadow effect of it, like a darker color. And it's in a couple places in here, and it is Garden Gate from Gentle Art. And I know they didn't have it, and I had looked online and I didn't see it when I was placing some other orders. And I just heard someone else say like, it's like the color nobody can find. And so I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to need something. So if you know a good like alternative, because I am doing the overdyed flosses for this one. If you know a good alternative to Garden Gate, please leave me a comment and let me know that is like accessible and I could buy. Let me know. The other color I couldn't find was collards. I think it is the darker green. That's like the stems, and there's not a lot of it. So I think that'll be a relatively easy one to just pick something else for. But yeah, if you know a Garden Gate alternative, let me know. So my goal is to have this done by my anniversary, which is until September. So for sure, I mean, barring anything horrible happening, like there's no reason that shouldn't happen. Uh-oh, I think I might sneeze. Nope, maybe not. No. Okay, no. So I think we'll be done with that. Oh, you know, as I look at that, is it hard to see the, oh no, it's just because the goose. No, I think it's a duck. I think those are ducks, not geese. I'm not sure. So I'm trying to do this because this year is our 30th wedding anniversary. And so there's a part on this pattern, like I think you would, what it's intended is to do your initials here and then the wedding date here. So you could use this as just like a wedding sampler too. And then there's this puddle with a year, which I'm going to put like this year as the year, you know, so it'll be like 1992 will be here, and then 2022 is when I actually stitched it. The tricky thing is going to be fitting 2022 in that puddle, because it's a lot of 2s, which are kind of wider numbers than like the 1 that's in 16. So I'm gonna have to figure out like the charting of that a little bit and how I can make that work. So, but that I think will be done no problemo. This might be a worthy of professional framing situation, because I mean 30 years is it's a pretty good accomplishment. I'm pretty proud of that. And it's like a happy 30 years. It's not just like we've suffered with each other for 30 years. Okay, so that's happening. And I bet, today's the 18th, I bet I'll finish that by the end of the month, which makes me very happy, because then that was supposed to be I was gonna do those colors of charts outside of WIPGO, and that's the only other thing I had planned to work on. So like, I think I'll be able to take on some other bigger project once that's done. And I'm gonna tell you, I might have bought some hate patterns when there was a sale. And I told myself I wouldn't start another like full coverage thing until that Christmas on the beach was done. And since the cross stitching part is done, I'm gonna consider that, like for purposes of that promise to myself, I'm gonna consider that done. So I might start a hate. Okay, I don't know. That the size of those things is crazy to me. They're all beachy themed. Every one I got like 4 or 5 of them, because they're not really that expensive when they're half off. So I'm like, well, and now I have that's kind of why I wanted my tablet. Because I think if I had that, I could really, you know, enjoy working on those. So I joined like a hate Facebook group. I'm trying to get like some tips or whatever about working on them. I'm feeling like I might try the tent stitch just to make it go a little bit faster, but I don't know. Like, so if you've done one and you have any like tips or anything, feel free to share. Okay, the last thing I wanted to share, this isn't really, well, I think I did actually buy this, so I guess it's kind of haul, but this is the only other thing that is like seasonally on my WIPGO board. So I'm kind of hoping it gets called next month, because I do want to start it. And that is the hands-on design, Let's Talk Winter. And this was one of those random, I was at another needlework store here that is like, why can't I think of the name right now? The Crafty You. The Crafty You. Yeah, Crafty You. The Crafty You. And I went in there looking for some fabric for things, and and then I see this and I'm like, oh, that's so cute. And it's not like I haven't seen these before, but I was like, I don't have a lot of winter things, so I'm gonna get it. And so I did. I don't know that this is one where I don't know if I'm gonna do all of them. I just particularly liked the winter one, and partly because when I look at the picture, it almost looks like it's done on navy instead of black, which I know that the call for fabric is, it's either black or like a chalkboard or something. But I got navy fabric. Like, I don't know if you can tell, but I got like a dark, ooh, that's bad. Dark navy fabric. So this one it's ready to go. So I may, even if it doesn't get called, maybe that'll be the thing that when I finish the other thing, I'll start this one. I don't know, but it's there, it's waiting in the wings, hoping its number is called this next month. Okay, couple more haul things and that will wrap us up. Okay, so get this. So I was getting this tablet for Christmas, which is fine. Like that is, I was happy with just getting that. That's all I needed, whatever. But my younger daughter was like, well, you need to pick out some other things. Like, what else do you want? And I was like, if I want something, I just buy it, honey. But I know, like, she wants to get something, whatever. And so I'm like, I'll do this. I'll go through Amazon. I'll find some little things that I like and just put them in the cart. And then you can pick 1 or 2 things and, you know, you and Dad can figure it out and buy that. So I put a bunch of things in there. Some cross-stitch things. Some cross-stitch things. Some not cross-stitch things. They just bought the whole cart. Now, nothing was like crazily expensive. Like maybe it cost $100 or something, but I'm like, I didn't intend for you guys to buy the whole cart. It's too much. So now I have all these cross stitch kits that I was just like, oh, whatever. Just, but you know, cause it's not like, I don't know. I haven't shopped a lot on Amazon for cross stitch things, but, you know, I was just trying to find something, right? Okay. So here's what I got. This one I'm pretty excited about. This is they have a lot of Mill Hill kits. I realized that when I was kind of searching around. So this is Holiday Flamingo. There's a lot of beads, and I think it's mostly to make his legs, but oh my God, I look at that and I'm like, I'm not showing the pattern right now. That's a lot of beads. Like these are all beads, more beads. For a little thing, that's a lot of beads. But I think I'll hang on to this one until closer to Christmas time before I start him probably. And then I got this. This is Design Works, and it's just called Pink Floral. Okay, yeah, I'm complaining about back stitching and I put this in my Amazon cart. Okay, fine, whatever. But hopefully this is better. I might put this on a different, it gave you Ada with it, but I might put it on a different fabric. Because I do think it's pretty, I like it. I have a feeling this might drive me crazy though. But whatever, I'll use that Ada for something else. It's just white 14 count Ada. Maybe I'll add that to my spring WIPGO board. And then I got this Joy Horror cross stitch 2 flamingos. This is a made in China situation. So I'm not sure. I'm definitely gonna do this on a different fabric, but I like flamingos. This one maybe I'll put it on my summer board. I see this going on like a pale aqua or blue kind of color fabric better. I'll just have to keep in mind like these colors down below. And I actually thought for a second, because I think, and be careful, because I do think this comes as a stamped thing. And I almost thought, even though I was careful when I read it, when I looked at it, I'm like, ooh, I think this might be the stamped version, but it's not. It just has what can only be described as the stiffest. It says 14 count, but it almost looks bigger than that. Yeah, I'll for sure use a different fabric for that, but the pattern is pretty. So I got that. And then, okay, don't laugh when I show you this one. This is falling apart because the bag is all messed up. Okay, it is a dimensions kit. But I do like cardinals and it's pretty. And so here's the thing. I looked at the pattern and like they do backstitch around the birds. I think it's completely unnecessary. Like maybe by the beak, but I don't even think you have to do it. And then there's some like in this tree. There's not a lot and it looks a little bit more reasonable. And it didn't look like there were as many blended threads in this particular pattern either. I had put this in my cart before I realized how angry I was at Dimensions backstitching situation on the other one. So I got that guy. I should put him, he should have been on the winter board. He would have been a good one. This is another, they gave you Ada with it and it's kind of a blue-gray color. It's not horrible. Maybe I'll keep it. What size is that? I don't know. I'm debating about the fabric, potentially changing it. I thought it would be cute to do it on like that fabric that's like, looks like it has snow on it. Like, it's an aqua color, basalt something, whatever. No, splash, like it's like aqua splash or something. That I think would be cute. I should just order that fabric and then maybe just start it. I don't know. So I got that. That's it. Okay. Oh, I'm going to show you this really quick. I think it was Elizabeth Yankin Stitch did during like her Flossmas, Christmas, Stitchmas videos, how to make these little coasters. I didn't make this, but one of my husband's students gave it to him at Christmas and it's so cute. And so I stole it and I keep it on my desk because I love the colors. I might even take that into my office too, because it's got the gray. So yeah, that was a cute little Christmas gift that we received too. Okay, so that's it. I'm sorry, we're at 15 minutes now, so we're gonna wrap this thing up. This was a lot because, like I said, this is basically 2 months of stitching that I was sharing with you guys. So we'll keep them shorter in the future. But I'm good with WIPGO. I'm going to continue on with that. And yeah, I think that's it. So hope you guys are staying warm. We have a lot of snow here in Ohio, or just safe, whatever, at this point. So thank you, and we will see you next time.